Hi, I'm Claire from Wild Ginger Running, and this film will hopefully help you decide whether you need open ear or bone conduction headphones for your running. So I use the Shokz Openrun Pro bone conduction headphones, bone phones from here on, all the time while trail running, walking, doing household chores because they send the vibrations straight into the inner ear, bypassing the ear canal so you can hear other runners, instructions from marshals, traffic coming, birdsong, conversation, and one downside, which we'll get to in a minute, wind noise. But recently I've been getting email after email from PRs about testing these open ear headphones. This is the Cleer Arc 2 Sport, and this is the Oladance OWS1. So these promise a great sound experience with regular sound waves like buds and over-ear headphones, but they don't fully cover your ear, as you can see from the images on my right hand side here. And that means you can hear ambient sound like the bone phones, which is what runners need to stay safe. So, are these new open ear headphones the perfect middle ground for runners? Let's find out. But just before we start, I have popped the affiliate links to buy all of these in the film description below. So thanks very much for supporting me if you do decide to buy any of them. And please click the like button on this film and subscribe to the channel and write a comment about what headphones you are currently really rating. These are all totally free ways to support Wild Ginger Running, so thank you very much if you've got time to do any of those. First of all, let's get to the main event, which is sound quality. So the main advantage of these open ear headphones is that the sound quality is a lot better than bone phones, and I personally find they go a lot louder. It's like listening to music on a really good speaker at home with great bass, clear drum beats, and with a really melodic, well-rounded tune. The Cleers are particularly good here with a really well-rounded sound, and also they've got an app that lets you alter the EQ depending on what type of music you're listening to. I've been using the Sport EQ, which seems to add more reverb and make it louder, but you can play around with that to see what suits you best, which is a really good feature. You can hear the Shokz better if you put earplugs in your ears to block off the surrounding sound manually, which you could do on and off if needed in particularly noisy areas like roadsides and also in high wind. Which brings me on to the next one, which is hearing surrounding noise. So while running, you can still hear sounds around you using these, but not as much as with the bone phones, because they do still send those sound waves down your ear holes, even if they don't completely cover it. So I found these to be a more of an immersive experience than the bone phones, especially because, as I just mentioned, they go louder as well. But unlike the in-ear buds, you're still able to hear that traffic, dogs barking and people cheering you on in races. So you can still hear loud things in the external environment. Weirdly though, with these open ear headphones, in quiet places, you can hear this slight white noise fuzz, which while nothing is playing. So on the Cleers, you can turn them off at the earpiece, but with the Oladances, you have to go into the app to do this, which is less handy. You can't hear it if you're outside, but if you're inside where there's not a lot of background noise, you can, and it's just kind of odd. I find that a bit strange and a bit annoying, if I'm honest with you. So that white noise fuzz doesn't happen with these Openrun Pros. So the sound quality is good. You can still hear things going on around you, so that's a big plus point over the Openrun Pros from both. However, for me, as a runner, there was quite a big downside in how they actually work. So that brings me on to talk about the touch screen. So starting and stopping playback and skipping tracks is really easy because they have these tap functions. This is the touchscreen area here, and you tap or you double tap to do things like stop playback or skip tracks. There's lots of different functions for each. They're kind of similar. But they work slightly differently. I was pleased to see that the touchscreen also works fine with gloves. You just got to make sure that they are this type of glove here with a tech compatible fingertip like that. They will still work, so that's great for winter. But the biggie for me here is that it's a lot harder to adjust the volume on both of these open ear headphones compared to the Shokz, which is just a really simple up and down button here. So you just press up and down for the volume there. Really easy to find, even using gloves in winter. The Oladance is a touchscreen area here. And especially while you're running, you have to slide your finger up and down to do the volume up and down respectively. And especially while you're running, it's really easy to just turn it off because it thinks you're just doing a tap when actually you're trying to swipe up and down for the volume. It's harder to find them on the side of your head than you'd think as well. The Cleer is even trickier, I found. So to do that, you've got to do a sort of a double tap and then hold that second tap to adjust the volume. And the right hand side one does up and the left hand side one does down. That sounds easy enough, doesn't it? But first, sometimes that first tap just stops the playback because you weren't quick enough to get your finger back down for the hold down, or maybe you didn't press it in the right place on that first time because you couldn't quite locate where it was on your ear, and then you start to hold it down and without realizing it hasn't recognized that first tap, and then Siri pops up or your assistant on your phone. It is also trickier than you think, trying to hold that button, well, there's not a button, hold that thing, hold your finger there for to adjust the volume, even if it's just for a few microseconds whilst you're running. So that, I just found that a lot more difficult than this up and down button. And the reason that was a real drawback for me personally is because I want to change the volume like all the time when I'm out running to adjust for these external noises coming in. So like next to a road or in the wind, you need it a bit louder. Or I listen to a lot of podcasts and the adverts are often a lot louder in balance to the talking. Or I find, I don't know if I'm getting old, but these days I find the music on the radio is a lot louder than the actual talking. So I need to keep turning it up and down. So this was really difficult for me. If it was an easy up and down button like the Shokz, then I'd definitely be wearing these more often. Having said that, you do start to get the hang of these after a little while. Developed this little technique of holding the rest of the earpiece down with my other fingers while poking at it with my index finger. You obviously get the hang of it and you can press it in the right place while you're running, but it was harder than I thought to press in the right place. Who knows what's going on with my coordination. It's also surprising how often you need to scratch your ear, and you can't do that very easily when you've got these open ear headphones on because they're not actually very open ear. They're actually cover your ear quite well. As you can see from the pictures just there, you can see how much they cover the ear in comparison to the Shokz Openrun Pro, which is at the bottom there. So it's hard to get your finger inside there for a good old scratch without just either them coming completely off or tapping them and stopping the music. So I just found scratching the ear quite difficult, and adjusting anything around the ear area, you had to be really careful not to stop the sound. The fit, the fit with the Oladances was absolutely fine. They do feel like a little bit kind of big on your ear, but you know, they don't weigh that much there. You get used to that in a second. However, I found on my left hand side, the Cleer started to hurt after about an hour of wearing them, and there's no way to really adjust them for ear shape. They sort of have a bit of a bend in them, but you can't really adjust them to take into account like the changes in the shapes of your ears. So for me, the bone phones are definitely comfier, but this obviously won't affect everyone and you won't know till you try them on. The Oladances also felt like they might slip off because my ears are maybe a little bit smaller than some other people's, who knows. But they sent me these little rubber surrounds to grip on for people with small ears. So that was really cool. So you can get those, which does address the problem there. So surprisingly, for me, these headphones, the open ear headphones, were both actually really secure. They never actually fell off while running trails, even though I felt like they might, but they didn't. So that just shows that they're fine. But they could be easier to lose if you catch them on, like, say, a low-hanging branch or a bramble, because they just hook over your ear. So the bone phones do feel more secure with that band around the back of the head. So that just helps them to stay on or not become completely dislodged if you, like, lose one side. So where the headphones are kind of quite similar to each other are the following features. So waterproofness, the Openrun Pros win just with an IP55 rating, which means dust resistant and water resistant rather than fully waterproof. The Cleers are IPX5, so that's just water resistant, and the Oladances are IPX4, which is just splash proof. So I would like to see more like the almost waterproof IPX6 rating here for trail and ultra running for all of these really. Battery life, the Openrun Pros are in the middle with 10 hours. Cleer 2 Arcs 2 Sports are 8 hours, but the case is also a charger. So that provides you with 35 hours of charge, but obviously you've got to carry that extra weight with you. This weighs 100 grams. The Oladances last for significantly longer. They last for 16 hours, but the case that they come in isn't a charging case. You can buy one, which will give you an extra amazing 78 hours, but it will cost you an extra £50. And again, the case will weigh more. I don't have one, so I don't know how much it weighs, presumably similar to the Cleer ones, but this one that it comes in that doesn't charge it, that weighs 60 grams. So they just sit in there like that. It looks as if it would charge them. Oh, it doesn't provide an independent charge. So to charge them, you put them inside the case and you connect them with the USB-C cable there. But this one actually holds a charge of 35 hours within that. So you pop them inside there and you then pop them, you charge them up there, and this then stores the 35 hours of charge. So that's how that works. The Openrun Pros also have a quick charge time as well. So if you charge these for 5 minutes, they will last for an hour and a half. The Cleers, if you charge them for 10 minutes, they will last you for an hour. The Oladances don't say anything about a quick charge time, so I'm assuming that they don't have that. You can also, with these open ear headphones, obviously just wear one to extend the battery life a little bit longer. But I find that just makes for a bit of an imbalanced sound experience, so I don't tend to do that. And also with the Cleers, the volume is up on the right and down on the left, so wearing one doesn't really work. Having said that, you can customize the functions in the app, so you could customize that to be different and just wear the one, but I'm not really a fan of that. Wind noise, yes, these headphones do perform better in the wind in that playback is less affected by higher winds. So they partly cover the ear hole rather than leaving it fully open like the Bone phones. So you can definitely hear better in high winds. And yeah, as I said before, with the Openrun Pros, they do actually include that pair of earplugs, so you can hear that playback better in these conditions. However, all three are still affected by wind noise distorting your voice through that microphone on calls. So I'm not sure that any headphone has got this totally right yet. What I do is that I wear a hood which shelters the microphone from wind noise. And you can use a buff as well to do that. That's obviously easier in winter because it's colder. So it's not great a solution for summer running when it's windy. Weight-wise, they're all very similar. The Shokz, 29 grams. The Cleer, this side, the Cleer is 28 grams. The Oladance is 25 grams. Price, bit of a difference really. I mean, all of them you're forking out quite a bit, but the Shokz win here with £160. The Cleers are better value. I think they're the better value open ear headphones because they are £200 including this charging case. The Oladances, on the other hand, these are £200, but that excludes that £50 charging case. The case with the external charge in it. They both charge you via the cases. I hope I've made that clear. Other good features that I haven't mentioned yet, Cleer also blast the earpieces with UV light inside the case. So that's designed to kill bacteria. But of course, with these Openrun Pros, they don't go anywhere near your lug hole, so they don't need to do this. The Cleers also have motion control, which does take a bit of practice to get the speed of the movement right. does work sat in your office chair walking along, but I wouldn't recommend it while you're running, especially on the trails or when you're tired on an ultra, because you've got enough to do already. And you look like a right wally if you were falling over trying to nod or turn your head to answer a call or skip a track. Basically, it's nod to answer a call, shake of the head to decline a call or end the call. And then you can do, it's turn your head to the right to skip track forwards and turn your head to the left to skip track back. That's all fine while you're not really doing anything else, but on the run, questionable. I'm not coordinated enough to do that. Maybe you will be. Let me know in the comments below. So, in summary, oh yeah, sorry, before I go, I haven't finished. They have also, the Cleers have an automatic power off function. If you haven't used them for a certain time, which you can set on the app, then they will turn off, which is a handy function. The Oladances, you've got to get into the app to turn them off. They're also, people always ask me this question, how are they with sunglasses and hats? Sunglasses, absolutely fine. That's sunglasses. And I always wear a visor, not a hat. So again, a lot of things around your ears. The one thing they're not compatible with is a mask. I remember in COVID times, I was trying to get like a mask on as well around my ears. That was really, really difficult. So yeah, sunglasses, yes, masks, not so much. So in summary, what do I think? What have I done with that one? Oh, just lost one on the head. Oh, it's in here. So in summary, I think that the open ear headphones are really great for listening to music and podcasts. I like the fact that they go louder than the Shokz. The sound quality is better than the Shokz. But in doing so and in putting those sound waves down your ear again, they do block out more of that ambient sound around you, which might not be what you really want for running on trails or beside roads or in inner cities. But they are definitely better than wearing in-ear buds or those over-the-ear headphones, which close everything out. They are easy to use despite my ranting about the volume. They are easy to use even with gloves on. Got to have those touchscreen tip things though. But if you are a runner who finds themselves needing to adjust the volume a lot, you just might find those buttons just trickier to use than this nice, simple on-off button of the Openrun Pros, especially while running. But I do think it's something that you can get the hang of though with a little practice, so don't let me put you off there. Particularly the Cleers stand out to me as the better values of the open ear headphones with the best sound quality and the best range of features and functions, and that price point as well with the charging case included. But they don't fit me as well. They hurt my left ear and the volume adjustment is the hardest of them all in my opinion. If they fitted me without being painful and the volume was just like a pressy up-down button, I would be all over these because they sound great. However, I will be sticking with my bone phones just for the moment because I find that volume control so much easier to use, and I actually like hearing so much of the outside world as well as my podcast and my music. I do struggle to hear the sound in high winds though and beside traffic, so having used these, that has made it stand out to me how much of the sound I do miss on these bone phones, so I will be taking my earplugs with me for situations like this. They're so light, I may as well give that a go, mayn't I? So I will still be recommending the Shokz Openrun Pros as my personal favourite running headphones. See my top 5 review here if you want to know why they're the best of the bone phones. But everybody is different, and the better sound quality, the loudness, the battery charging case as well from the Cleer and Cleer Arc 2 Sports and the Oladance OWS ones might be a deal breaker for some of you. So basically, I just hope that this review has equipped you with all the information you need to make the right decision for you and your running. So check out more of my trail running gear reviews here. And if you've enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe to the channel and consider becoming a patron to support me in making this free content for you at patreon.com/wildgingerrunning. Patrons get perks like the monthly competition to win trail and ultra running gear and nutrition. You can message me with any questions about your training. You can get priority questions into our live chats, like with coaches, elite athletes and normal runners doing incredible things. There are a few extra films as well, and we also have an exclusive Facebook group, which is super friendly and supportive. So thank you very much anyway for supporting the channel in whatever way suits you best, and write me a comment about which headphones you have been using for running and why you like them. Thank you for watching and see you on the trails.